are live. We are streaming.
It's 4 minus 1, that's 3 quick maths. Everyday man's on the block, smoke trees. See your girl in the park, that girl was a uckers. When the team went crack. It's 4 minus 1, that's 3 quick maths. Everyday man's on the block, smoke trees. See your girl in the park, that girl was a uckers. When the team went crack, 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 you man were ducking. Old time sneak, he's got a pumpy. Old time my man, he's got a frisbee. Trap, trap, trap on the road, moving that cornflakes. Rice crispy, old time my girl Whitney. On the road doing 10 toes, lava toes. You man thought I froze. I see a plain girl in a pose. If she's not on it, I'll post. Ha, look at your nose. What?
Oh,
It's 4.
vai. Bruder.
It's 4 minus 1, that's 3 quick maths. Everyday man's on the block, smoke trees. See your. It's 4 minus 1, that's 3 quick maths. Everyday man's on the block, smoke trees. See your girl in the park, that girl was a uckers. When the team went quack, 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 you man were ducking. Old time sneak, he's got a pumpy. Old time my man, he's got a frisbee. Trap, trap, trap on the road, moving that cornflakes. Rice crispy, old time my girl Whitney. On the road doing 10 toes, lava toes. You man thought I froze. I see a plain girl in a pose. If she's not on it, I'll post. Ha, look at your nose. What? You dipped her?
No! Oh my god, why?
It's 4 minus 1, that's 3 quick maths. Everyday man's on the block, smoke trees. See your girl in the park, that girl was a uckers. When the team went quack, 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 you man were ducking. Old time sneak, he's got a pumpy. It's 4 minus 1, that's 3. It's 4 minus 1, that's 3 quick maths. Everyday man's on the block, smoke trees. See your girl in the park, that girl was a uckers. When the team went. It's 4 minus 1, that's 3 quick maths. Everyday man's on the block, smoke trees. See your girl in the park, that girl was a uckers. When the team went quack, 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 you man were ducking. Old time sneak, he's got a pumpy. Old time my man. It's 4 minus 1, that's 3 quick maths. Everyday man's on the block, smoke trees. See your girl in the park, that girl was a uckers. When the team went quack, 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 you man were ducking. Old time sneak, he's got a pumpy. Old time my man, he's got a frisbee. Trap, trap, trap on the road, moving that cornflakes. It's 4 minus 1, that's 3 quick maths. Everyday man's on the block, smoke trees. See your girl in the park, that girl was a uckers. When the team went quack. You man were. Old time sneak, he's got a. It's 4 minus 1, that's 3 quick maths. Everyday man's on the block, smoke trees. See your girl in the park, that girl was a uckers. When the team went quack, 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 you man were ducking. Old time sneak, he's got a pumpy. Old time my man, he's got a frisbee. Trap, trap, trap on the road, moving that cornflakes. Rice crispy, old time my girl Whitney. It's 4 minus 1, that's 3 quick maths. Everyday man's on the block, smoke trees. See your girl in the park, that girl. It's 4 minus 1, that's 3 quick maths. Everyday man's on the block. It's 4 minus 1, that's 3 quick maths. Everyday man's on the block. Minus one, that's three, quick maths. Everyday man's on the block. Smoke trees. See your girl in the park. That girl was a uckers. When the thing went quack, 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 you man were ducking. Old tight Afni, he's got a pumpy. Old tight my man, he's got a frisbee. Trap, trap, trap on the road. Moving that cornflakes. Rice crispy. Old tight my girl Whitney. On the road doing 10 toes. 2 plus 2 is 4. Minus 1, that's 3, quick maths. Everyday man's on the block. Smoke trees. See your girl in the park. That girl was a uckers. When the thing went quack, 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 you man were ducking. Old tight Afni, he's got a pumpy. Old tight my man, he's got a frisbee. Trap, trap, trap on the road. Moving that cornflakes. Rice crispy. Old tight my girl Whitney. On the road doing 10 toes. Lava toes. You man fought, I froze. I see a pen girl then I pose. If she's not on it, I post. Ha, look at your nose. What? You get
Okay.
2 plus 2 is 4. Minus 1, that's 3, quick maths. Everyday man's on the block. Smoke trees. See your girl in the park. That girl was a uckers. When the thing went quack, 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 you man were
Stop lagging.
minus 1, that's 3, quick maths. Everyday man's on the block. Smoke trees. See your girl in the park.
Sorry, my
When the thing went quack, 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 you man were ducking. Old tight Afni, he's got a pumpy. Old tight my man, he's got a frisbee. Trap, trap, trap on the road. Moving that cornflakes. Rice crispy. Old tight my girl Whitney. On the road doing 10 toes. Lava toes. You man fought, I froze. I see a pen girl then I pose. If she's not on it, I post. Ha, look at your nose.
yo more. I will invite you. I'll invite you to our room.
What do you want?
Okay. Okay. 3. Yay.
Minus 1, that's 3, quick maths. Everyday man's on the block. Smoke trees. See your girl in the park. That girl was a uckers. When the thing went quack, 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 you man were ducking. Old tight Afni, he's got a pumpy. Old tight my man, he's got a frisbee. Trap, trap, trap on the road. Moving that cornflakes. Rice crispy. Old tight my girl Whitney. On the road doing 10 toes. Lava toes. You man fought, I froze. I see a pen girl then I pose. If she's not on it, I post. Ha, look at your nose. What? You did her? Nose long like garden hose.
No, you died, right? And guess, yes, you died. No, not.
Ah!
2 plus 2 is 4. Minus 1, that's 3.
No shit, I don't.
Because I leave the thing, I just wanted to change some things up.
See your girl in the park. That girl was a uckers. When the thing
By the way, I'm streaming.
4. Minus 1, that's 3, quick maths. Everyday man's on the block.
Okay.
Wait, be right
Hi,
back.
Davies. Would like him to
Be right
3
back.
biggie. Hmm. Okay, now actually let me try to be decent and practice the model. Because I never did it in practice mode. Huh? Hmm. Practice music. But if I get a drop wave, I'll be surprised. Actually, not gonna lie. Looks like because I just suck. Oh. I guess what was your best again on Cheetah Golden? I mean, on Cheetah Golden. 51. Yeah. Yeah, your best is 51. Oh, I'm so far. Yay. I hate when people mute. I mean, don't mute when they, like, need, need to pee or something. Sorry. Actually, it's annoying. Hmm. Hey, John. I already forgot what I said. Hardest Joe Breaker. Uh, uh, shiny to golden. Bruh. It's so annoying. Bruh. Bruh. Games. Yes. Oh my god, 68. Not even I'm gonna hit a zip line if I don't hit a new best in a few attempts. At least in 100 attempts. 10th is gone, actually. Oh, and go subscribe to me channel as wistfully. I literally just wistfully. My video, and my first ever video, and my most popular video is I'm not cooked. I give up. I found a pigeon. Shit. Uh, It's her house, Yoldian. Bruh. This game is actually disappointing. It's not even like it does not even feel like one. Plus the car positions are stupid.
plus 2 is 4 minus 2 plus 2 is 4 minus 1, that's 3, quick maths. Everyday man's on the block, smoke trees. See your girl in the park, that girl was a uckers. When the team went quack, 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 you man were ducking. Old tight athlete, he's got a pumpy. Old tight my man, he's got a frisbee. Trap, trap, trap on the road, moving that cornflakes. 2 plus 2 is 4 minus 1, that's 3, quick maths. Everyday man's on the block, smoke trees. See your girl in the park, that girl was a uckers. When the team went quack. 2 plus 2 is 4 minus 1, that's 3, quick maths. Everyday man's on the block, smoke trees. See your girl in the park, that girl was a uckers. When the team went quack, 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 you man were ducking. Old tight athlete, he's got a pumpy. Old tight my man, he's got a frisbee. Trap, trap, trap on the road, moving that cornflakes. Rice crispy, old tight my girl Whitney. On the road doing 10 toes, lava toes. You man fought, I froze. I see a pen girl then I pose. If she's not on it, I'll post. Ha, look at your nose. What? You dipped her? Nose long like garden hose. Hop up the 4-door with the 440 was.
My baba microphone was off. Sorry for the malfunction. Sorry for the malfunctions. Malfunction. What happened?
Today, I'm putting myself in the NBA. My name's Dula, and I'm low-key a super athlete. So I did some real-life drills so we can see what my overall would be. Then I created myself an NBA 2K, and I'll be simulating my entire NBA career. Will I make the Hall of Fame? Well, let's find out. So the first order of business is figuring out my build. What is my height and what is my wingspan?
69. You are 5'9".
6'1" wingspan. 6'1" wingspan, but I'm 5'9".
So because I'm 5'9", I'm gonna be a point guard, but next up is my physicals, my speed and my vertical.
Down and back's probably gonna be like 4 seconds.
Whoa.
Okay. Okay. What's the vert on that?
So I think 87 speed and 90 vertical is more than fair for what I just did. So next up is layups. Now keep in mind, I'm left-handed, so if I miss the right ones for some reason, it's because I'm left-handed, it's my dominant hand.
Ah. Alright.
The layups were kind of shabby, so I gave myself a 90. I think that's pretty fair. Next up is the post game.
That's crazy.
Today we're doing NBA imperialism, but the shot distance determines the points per basket. So if you shoot a 3, you get 24 points, but if you get a layup, you only get 1 point. And as always, we're starting on our wheel of NBA teams spinning to see which team will be attacking first. This time, we land on the Golden State Warriors, and we're gonna put our arrow on the Warriors on the map, spin the arrow, wherever the arrow points, that's who they'll be attacking, and it points to the Kings. So we're starting off with the Warriors attacking the Kings. Hopping into our first match here, the games are all CPU versus CPU, and the first team to reach 100 points will win the game. And the Warriors started the game with a 25-foot three-point shot, meaning they start up 25-0. Kings hit a Warriors but the our first 139 victory. So the Warriors take over the Kings territory right there. Kings are our first team to fall, and we are back over to the wheel to see which team will attack next. This time we land on the Cavs. They are surrounded by quite a few teams, but the team they'll be attacking is the Charlotte Hornets. This game was a lot closer than the first. It was back and forth all game, and the Hornets led 78-73. From here, Josh Green hit a 25-foot shot to give the Hornets a 103-73 win. So a huge upset right there for the Hornets. As of recording, the Cavs are still undefeated in real life, but our next attacking team will be the 76ers. So staying up in the East here, few teams the 76ers could attack, and it lands on the Raptors. I'm using injury. Today, I put the top 100 NBA players of all time into a 1v1 tournament. Getting right into round 1, we have Damian Lillard versus Dolph Schayes. For the first round, each game will go to 7 points, going up by 1s and 2s, and you have to win by 2 as well. Lillard ended up winning this game 8-5. Next is Ray Allen versus Gus Williams. 3-point shooters are looking in this game 8 up by 1s and 2s, and you have to win by 2 as well. Lillard ended up winning this game 8-5. Next is Ray Allen versus Gus Williams. 3-point shooters are looking pretty OP in this game, and Ray Allen won 8-4. Now we have Gary Payton versus Chauncey Billups, and if you're wondering how I picked the top 100 players, I just used the list that was on Ranker, which anyone can vote on. Chauncey won this game 7-4. Then we had Luka Doncic versus Dennis Johnson. Luka is the youngest player in this tournament at 20. We had Luka Doncic versus Dennis Johnson. Luka is the youngest player in this tournament at 25 years old, and he won 7-5. Next is Bob Cousy versus Dave Bing, and Bob Cousy is the oldest player in this tournament at 96 years old. He won 9-6. Then we had Kyrie Irving versus Chris Webber, and despite the big height mismatch in this game, Kyrie won 7-5. After them was Moses Malone versus Joel Embiid. Two great 76ers facing off, but Malone came out on top, winning 9-7. Next is Dikembe Mutombo Sixers facing off, but Malone came out on top, winning 9-7. Next is Dikembe Mutombo versus Tim Hardaway, and this height difference was insane. Mutombo at 7'2" versus Tim Hardaway at 6 foot. Mutombo won 7-4. Then we had Dennis Rodman versus Chris Bosh. This game wasn't close at all, with Chris Bosh winning 7-4. After them was Tony Parker versus Manu Ginobili. Two great Spurs teammates. It was a close game, but Ginobili got the upset, winning 12-10. Next is Chris Paul versus Dwight Howard, and it's nice in this game, shorter players can actually compete against centers in 1v1s. The game was close, but Dwight still won 14-12. Then we had James Harden versus Joe Dumars. This was an easy victory for James Harden, winning 7-4. After that was Bill Walton versus Penny Hardaway. It was a close game, but Walton came out on top, winning 7-5. Next was Dominique Wilkins versus James Harden, winning 7-4. After that was Bill Walton versus Penny Hardaway. It was a close game, but Walton came out on top, winning 7-5. Next was Dominique Wilkins versus Bob Pettit, two Hawks legends. They had a good fight, and Dominique won 9-7. Then we had Alex English versus Jerry Lucas, another game going over the score limit, with English winning 12-10. After them was James Worthy versus Gail Goodrich, two Lakers legends facing off. Worthy won 13-11. Next was Willis Reed versus George Mikan. This was the biggest upset of round 1. Reed won 7-1. Then we had Pistol Pete versus Jimmy Butler. This game was a lot closer than the last one. Jimmy came out on top, winning 13-11. After them was Robert Parrish versus Alonzo Mourning. This game took forever to finish, but Parrish won 18-16. Next was Tracy McGrady versus Ralph Sampson, and despite Sampson's big height advantage, T-Mac still won 8-4. Then we had Vince Carter versus Ben Wallace, and Vince is going to be facing his teammate next round because he won 7-4. After them was Rick Barry versus Yao Ming. Rick Barry is 4 overalls higher than Yao, but Yao still came out on top, winning 7-4. Next was Clyde Drexler versus Klay Thompson, and Klay's shooting helping him get the W here, winning 10-8. Then we had Artis Gilmore versus Nate Thurmond. This game was a complete blowout, with Gilmore winning 7-2. After them was John Havlicek versus Dave DeBuscher, two old-timers. Havlicek came out on top, winning 7-5. Next was Wes Unseld versus Sean Kemp. Unseld had the 4 overall advantage here, but Kemp won 7-5. Then we had Paul Pierce versus Billy Cunningham, and Cunningham got a bit of an upset here, winning 9-7. After them was Anthony Davis versus Bernard King. Winner of this has to play Kareem in the next round, and AD won 7-5. Next, we had Wish Reggie Miller versus Derrick Rose. Reggie Miller isn't actually in the game, so we got this creative version of him, but he still won 7-5. He won Davis versus Bernard King. Winner of this has to play Kareem in the next round, and AD won 7-5. Next, we had Wish Reggie Miller versus Derrick Rose. Reggie Miller isn't actually in the game, so we got this creative version of him, but he still won 7-5. Then we had Jason Kidd versus Elgin Baylor, one of the greatest scorers versus greatest passers of all time. Baylor won 8-6. After them was Kevin McHale versus Chris Mullin. This game went back and forth, but McHale took the W, winning 8-6. Next up was Oscar Robertson versus Dave Cowens, and Oscar Robertson, the highest overall of the first round to lose. Cowens won 7-5. Then we had Pau Gasol versus Grant Hill. Gasol made light work of Hill, winning 7-4. After them was Isaiah Thomas versus JoJo White, and being more of a passer during his career didn't help Isaiah here. JoJo won 9-7. The second last match of round 1 was Bob McAdoo versus Paul George, and McAdoo won this one easily, 7-4. And our final match of round 1 is Carmelo Anthony versus Russell Westbrook. I would have liked to see both of these players go further in the tournament, but Carmelo won this one 9-7. Making our way into round 2, we have Michael Jordan versus Damian Lillard. If you were wondering where all the best players were in round 1, they all had a bye, so they'll all play this round. Again, going to 7 points, Jordan beat Lillard 10-8. After them was Ray Allen versus Chauncey Billups, and Ray Allen's shooting carried him again here, beating Chauncey 8-4. Next, we had Jerry West versus Luka Doncic, both 97 overalls, but Luka was quite a bit better, winning 7-4. Then we had David Robinson versus Bob Cousy, and Robinson had a huge height advantage here, but Cousy was still able to get the victory, winning 7-6. After them was Tim Duncan versus Kyrie Irving. Kyrie couldn't get anything going against Tim, and Tim won 7-5. Next was Scottie Pippen versus Moses Malone. Scottie was the higher seed here, but stood no chance against Moses, who won 7-4. Then we had Steph Curry versus Dikembe Mutombo, and this game was back and anything going against Tim, and Tim won 7-5. Next was Scottie Pippen versus Moses Malone. Scottie was the higher seed here, but stood no chance against Moses, who won 7-4. Then we had Steph Curry versus Dikembe Mutombo, and this game was back and forth. Mutombo was playing good D against Curry's threes, but in the end, Curry's shooting got him the 10-8 win. After them was Nikola Jokic versus Chris Bosh. Jokic led the entire time. It was still close, but Jokic won 7-5. Next was Kobe Bryant versus Manu Ginobili, and Ginobili stood no chance against Kobe, who won 7-4. Then we had Dwight Howard versus James Harden. This game was a battle. It was back and forth the entire time, and despite the size mismatch, Harden won 11-9. After them was Kevin Durant versus Bill Walton. Durant won this game quite easily, winning 8-4. Next was Karl Malone versus Dominique Wilkins, and Dominique showing out for the kids here, putting a stop to Karl Malone, winning 9-7. Then we had Magic Johnson versus Alex English. This wasn't close at all. Magic won easily, 7-4. After them was Steve Nash versus James Worthy. I thought Nash was going to do a lot better than he did, but he stood no chance against Worthy, who won 7-4. Next was Hakeem Olajuwon versus Willis Reed, and this game took forever. It was the highest scoring game of the entire tournament so far, but in the end, Hakeem won 26-24. Then we had Giannis Antetokounmpo versus Jimmy Butler. This was a blowout by Giannis, who won 7-3. After them was LeBron James versus Robert Parrish. Parrish put up a good fight here, but the 2-seed LeBron won 7-5. Next was Tracy McGrady versus Vince Carter, two former teammates and second cousins. It was Vince coming out on top, winning 7-5. Then we had Kevin Garnett versus Yao Ming. Yao couldn't do anything against Garnett, and Garnett won 7-4. After them was Dwayne Wade versus Klay Thompson. With how good three-point shooters have been, I thought Klay had a great chance of winning this game, but he couldn't hit his shots, and Wade won 7-4. Next was Shaquille O'Neal versus Artis Gilmore, and Artis gave Shaq a great matchup here, but Shaq won 9-7. Then we had Kawhi Leonard versus John Havlicek. Kawhi dominated this game and won 7-4. After them was Bill Russell versus Sean Kemp. Bill Russell was taken out of the game this year, so we had to mod him back in, but he still won 7-5. Next was John Stockton versus Billy Cunningham, and Billy had yet another upset this round, beating Stockton 9-7. Then we had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar versus Anthony Davis, and AD with the biggest upset of the tournament so far. Kareem is our first 99 overall player to lose, 81-12-10. After them was Wish Reggie Miller versus Elgin Baylor. Reggie's shooting was not on this game, and Baylor won 7-5. Next was Dirk Nowitzki versus Kevin McHale. Dirk led all game and ended up winning 7-5. Then we had Allen Iverson versus Dave Cowens. AI with the 1 overall advantage here won the game 7-5. After them was Larry Bird versus Pau Gasol. Larry's shooting carried him this game 7-5. After them was Larry Bird versus Pau Gasol. Larry's shooting carried him this game, helping him win 10-7. Next was Patrick Ewing versus JoJo White. Patrick Ewing with the big size advantage here won 7-5. The second last game of round 2 was Wilt Chamberlain versus Bob McAdoo. Wilt dominated this game, winning easily 7-4. And the last game of round 2 was Wish Charles Barkley versus Carmelo Anthony. Again, Barkley is another player that's not actually in the game, so we just have a created player version of him, and Carmelo ended up winning this one 8-6. Making our way to round 3 now, starting off with Michael Jordan versus Ray Allen. All the games in round 3 are going to go to 9 points, and again, you have to win by 2. Ray Allen's shooting kept him in this game, but in the end, he couldn't stop Jordan, who won 10-8. After them was Luka Doncic versus Bob Cousy, the youngest versus oldest players in the tournament facing off here, and it was the younger of the two dominating the game. Luka won 9-6. Then we had Tim Duncan versus Moses Malone. Timmy won this game pretty easily, defeating Malone 9-5. Next was Steph Curry versus Nikola Jokic. A huge height mismatch here, but yet again, Curry's shooting shined through, helping him win 9-7. After them was Kobe Bryant versus James Harden, two of the greatest shooting guards in NBA history. It ended up being a really close matchup, with Kobe coming out on top 9-7. Then we had Kevin Durant versus Dominique Wilkins. Durant's shooting helped him a lot here, and Durant won 10-8. Next was Magic Johnson versus James Worthy. They won 3 championships together in real life, but they were forced to go head-to-head today, and it was the sidekick of the two winning this time. Worthy won 9-7, a huge upset, and another 99 overall gets eliminated. After them was Hakeem Olajuwon versus Giannis Antetokounmpo, and in back-to-back games, we see a 99 overall eliminated. This game was high scoring. It was a lot of back and forth, but Giannis won 15-13. Then we had LeBron James versus Vince Carter. This was an easy game for LeBron, getting a dominant 9-5 win. Next was Kevin Garnett versus Dwayne Wade, and we had another dominant victory this game, this time in favor of Garnett, who won 9-3. After them was Shaquille O'Neal versus Kawhi Leonard, and yet again, another dominant victory. This time, it was Shaq winning 9-4. Then we had Bill Russell versus Billy Cunningham, and Bill Russell finally put a stop to Billy, beating him 9-7. Next was Anthony Davis versus Elgin Baylor, two of the lower seeds left in the tournament. AD had another great game, winning 9-6. After them was Dirk Nowitzki versus Allen Iverson. The height of Dirk was too much for AI to handle on defense, and up 9-8, Dirk hit a two-pointer to win 11-8. Then we had Larry Bird versus Patrick Ewing, and again, it was Larry Bird's shooting that kept him in this game. He hit a 2 to win the game 10-8. And the final game of round 3 was Wilt Chamberlain versus Carmelo Anthony. Wilt was dominant yet again. He's looking pretty unstoppable. He won this one 9-5. And we are on to round 4 now, starting with Michael Jordan versus Luka Doncic. We are going to 9 points again this round, and this was a really close matchup. They just went back and forth scoring the whole game till things were tied up at 7. Jordan got a dunk, then got his first stop against Luka all game, following it up with another dunk to win 9-7. Next, we had Tim Duncan versus Stephen Curry. Curry couldn't do anything to stop Duncan, but after each inbound, he would just chuck up a 3, and this helped him win the game 9-6. After them was Kobe Bryant versus Kevin Durant, and just like Curry, Kobe was lights out from 3 this game. He had the lead for pretty much the entire game because of it, and ended up winning 9-6. Then we had James Worthy versus Giannis Antetokounmpo. This was the biggest blowout of the round. Giannis just dominated all game. He won 9-3. Next was LeBron James versus Kevin Garnett. Despite LeBron being the 2 seed, he could not do anything against Garnett. Garnett bullied LeBron in the post and locked him up on defense, winning the game 9-6. After them was Shaquille O'Neal versus Bill Russell, two of the greatest centers in NBA history, but Shaq proving why he's the most dominant player of all time in this game. He won 9-7. The penultimate game of round 4 was Anthony Davis versus Dirk Nowitzki, and this was a really close game. They went back and forth scoring till it was all tied up at 9. From here, AD got a dunk to get his takeover, allowing him to get a stop on defense. Then he hit a tough post shot to win the game 11-9, getting yet another upset. And finally, the last match of round 4 was Larry Bird versus Wilt Chamberlain. This was the closest and longest game of round 4, going past the score limit, being tied up at 13. Wilt got his takeover badge and Larry couldn't stop him. Wilt won 15-13. And we are down to only 8 players remaining now. Starting off in this round, we got Michael Jordan versus Stephen Curry. And in this round, all the games will be going up to 11 points. This game was close. Things were all tied up at 9 points. Curry had the chance to end it with a 3, but bricked the shot. And right after clearing the ball, Jordan pulled up from 3, draining it to win the game 11-9. Next was Kobe Bryant versus Giannis Antetokounmpo. And surprisingly, Kobe dominated Giannis. Usually Giannis is the one that's OP in these matchups, but this time it was Kobe getting a fairly easy 11-6 win. Then we had Shaquille O'Neal versus Kevin Garnett. This game was quite a bit closer than the last one, but still Shaq is just unstoppable. He had to sweat a bit for this one, winning 11-8. And the last match of the round was Anthony Davis versus Wilt Chamberlain. AD is the only player remaining that's under a 98 overall, and somehow he pulled off the impossible yet again this game. It was a great matchup, but AD came out on top, winning 12-10. And we are into the semifinals now. Only 4 players remain. And to start, we have Michael Jordan versus Kobe Bryant, going to 11 points again. These guys are practically the same player, and it showed in the matchup. It was back and forth, but Jordan started pulling ahead a bit. He took a 10-8 lead. But Kobe followed this up with a layup and a 3 to pull ahead by 1 point. Jordan came right back and tied everything up again, but on the next possession, Kobe hit Jordan with a nasty pump fake, giving him a wide open 3, and he drained it to win 13-11. And our other semifinals matchup was Shaquille O'Neal versus Anthony Davis. These guys have been the 2 most dominant big men all tournament, also 2 Lakers players, and this was a great battle between them. The game took a long time, but eventually everything was tied up at 11. From here, Shaq had 2 unanswered buckets to give him the 13-11 win. And we have made it to the finals. Kobe Bryant versus Shaquille O'Neal. The greatest duo in NBA history facing off in a 1v1 to find the greatest 1v1 player in NBA history. We're going to 15 points this game, and this was actually a great matchup. Starting the game, everything was back and forth. When Kobe scored, Shaq followed up with a bucket of his own, then Kobe would come right back with another bucket. This led to the game being tied up at 10. From here, Shaq started dominating the game, getting 4 unanswered buckets in a row. He went up 14-10. Kobe was able to score one more time, but unfortunately couldn't make the comeback. Shaq ended things with a layup, winning the game 15-11 and becoming the greatest 1v1 player in 1v1 history, or at least in NBA 2K25. Let me know if you guys think the same thing would happen in real life, or if you think another player would win. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and check out this video right here where I put the 32 best players in today's NBA into a 1v1 tournament. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
A legendary level is cheated to fame. A huge player gets desperate. Community stars turning out to be frauds. Today we'll go over some more of the biggest cheaters in Geometry Dash. Stick around because the stories get even wilder. Geometry Dash in 2015 was a interesting time. The game was on the verge of a massive update, and there was a heated battle to claim the title of the best player of all time. Andromeda was one of those fighting for the crown. He not only was a talented demon slayer, but had a lot of experience building maps. He created the stupidly difficult level Poltergeist, which had crushing wave gameplay that would make any top player shake in their boots. But Andromeda would verify his beast of a level with ease. He'd then go on to verify what was both the largest mega collab in the game's history and the contender to take the #1 spot on the hardest demons list, the Ultimate Phase. Built by some of the biggest players in the game, it was one of the toughest levels Geometry Dash had ever seen. But Andromeda's achievements wouldn't stop there as he'd continue to plow through the hardest maps: Cataclysm, Ice Carbon Diablo X, Necropolis. Nothing stood a chance against him, and Andromeda was making huge strides in the battle for the top. But things weren't as they appeared. Just weeks before the 2.0 update would release, Andromeda would drop a bombshell on the community, confessing to hacking every single one of his major achievements, including both Poltergeist and the Ultimate Phase. Being a well-respected player, nobody ever caught wind that Andromeda was up to no good. He was just so good at hiding his tracks. Even today, we're not entirely sure how he cheated, and with footage being lost to time, we may never know. It's speculated that Andromeda recorded his videos by using speed hacks to slow down the game. He would then take footage of his gameplay and speed it back up to normal in a video editor. It was a lot easier to get away with this at the time, as proper cheat detection methods hadn't yet been developed. After he aired his confession video, Andromeda would go on a long redemption tour. He wasn't one to disappoint, and over the next few months, he'd continue playing the game legitimately. And after a very long and very tough grind, he'd managed to beat every single one of his hacked achievements. He had redeemed himself in front of the entire community, but this story doesn't have an entirely happy ending, because as a legit player, he wasn't able to keep up with others in the battle for the top, and he'd soon slink behind. We now shift our focus to the second player fighting for the title of number 1. Cyclic is a name that rings a bell to many Geometry Dash players. Like Andromeda, the Korean Titan made their own level, Sonic Wave, which when released, essentially just became a harder version of Poltergeist. Same decoration, same game mode, just different colors.
NBA 2K25 is finally here, but what about